Hello,
Yay.
it's us. We're here.
It's here. It's here. Two
I
adults
see
here
a
to discuss a children's series once
I
again.
well, I see one child.
Well, yeah, they exist. Children exist here.
Children are children exist here. I was about to say children are welcome here, but then I thought about the way we talk about these books, and I was like, maybe not.
Yeah, probably not. Right.
Hello, glad you
Hi.
could join us. This month is very exciting because we started the Merlin missions.
Mm-hmm. I had no idea what that meant, and now I do.
Yeah, because prior to this read along, you had never read a Magic Treehouse book.
Correct.
And so you had never read a Merlin mission. But Merlin missions, hello, Betty, were those were the books that were coming out when I was at the age where Magic Treehouse was big for me.
So
So
do
like
you feel like you were more into more familiar with the Merlin missions?
um I'm more familiar with the covers of them because I saw all the covers at the Scholastic book fairs.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wanted them because they were pretty covers. Like they would have like foiling on them and stuff. Like they were gorgeous.
Yeah, they
Um,
do.
but they're too expensive for how short they are, so we never
Yep.
got them.
Yep. I think that was
Um,
Chris's bafflement re our conversation that
yeah,
I said that I don't love them. And as he's like, we own all of them now.
yeah, you own all of them. Um, so Lizzie was also more into Merlin missions. I thought they made me cooler, but Lizzie and I were also in like almost in the same age bracket at school.
Okay.
So, um,
I mean, I'm not that far.
no, but
I'm
you
like
didn't read
1 year
Magic
older than you.
Treehouse.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
So, like, the girlies who read Magic Treehouse were
Okay.
there for Merlin missions, and then there was you
Junie B. Jones in
away
it.
from the Magic Treehouse reading Junie B. Jones.
Exactly.
So, um, yeah, I also though had a moment where like I for sure thought I had read Christmas in Camelot because I've seen the cover so much, and then I realized that I was somehow thinking of reading a different winter themed Merlin mission from
I
later
was
on.
gonna say that this one felt like it had Winter of the Ice Wizard felt like it had more Christmas than Christmas in Camelot.
Christmas in
Like
Camelot was not about
more
Christmas.
Christmassy. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess we can start there with Christmas in Camelot. We read the first four. We have thoughts about them. Christmas in Camelot. What did we rate it?
Ooh, 2 stars.
Yay. I think I got really caught up in a flight of fancy that was something new in Magic Treehouse. We've read so
Okay.
many Magic Treehouse. This one was so different because it was the Merlin missions. I 4-starred it.
Oh wow. I
And
might
I
have to
know
look
it
at
because it
the
was something different. Because by the time I got to the fourth one in this, I was like, okay, yeah, we're in this new
You're
thing.
locked into the
I'm over it again. I
formula.
can judge it critically again. But for the first couple, I could not. I was just like, new.
Okay.
This is the Dancing Fairy one.
Oh,
She liked it 4 stars.
interesting.
I will say, I was reading Christmas in Camelot, and not to spoil already, but they faced down some like dragons in this. And in that moment, I thought to myself, wait a second. On the cover of the Magic Treehouse, the musical album, there are dragons. And that's when I realized, even though it's called Magic Treehouse the Musical, it's just Christmas in Camelot. I know because I went and I listened to some of the songs, and like they do the whole thing where they get caught in the circle dance. Like
Oh,
the musical is just Christmas in Camelot.
drama. The truth comes
So
out.
yeah. So if anybody was wondering what the musical is like, imagine setting Christmas in Camelot to music. That's it. That's the
That's what it
musical. And if you really liked Christmas in Camelot, then maybe look into the musical.
is. It's the musical for you.
Yeah. Okay, we're just gonna go note by note. You said you didn't take notes on this one?
I did on this one. Is the only one I did,
Okay, cool. Is
and
this the
it's
one you had
three
2
things
notes
that
on?
are. Huh?
Is it did you take 2 notes on this one?
I see 3 notes.
Okay,
On page
3 notes.
25, page 52, and page 80.
Okay, I have no idea what that is percentage-wise, and that's what my reading app tells me.
Okay. Well, it was about 100 pages. So it has to be like about 25%, about 52%.
Great. So
About
when we hit that in my notes, you just jump in. Okay.
my stuff is just stupid. Okay.
So is mine. And for the ones that I read from the library, I just highlighted stuff. I didn't write comments. I was like,
Yeah.
I'll for sure know what I was thinking.
And then no.
So we'll see if I do. My first highlight is at 18%. In which Jack really wished they had a book about Camelot. And this brings up the first big difference in the Merlin missions for me is that there are no books.
No, they just go. They just be going.
And this was something that continually upset me in reading them, and I think is going to peeve me the whole time.
Yep.
Because the whole point of the Magic Treehouse series was like teach them to be little researchers.
I pointed it out when a couple of the original series ones did that. Like a couple of the newer ones did where they were like, maybe if we read this and just say we want to go there, it'll work. And now it's like, oh, apparently they just can do that now.
Yeah, because like those books were written post Merlin mission. So at that point she was like, screw books. I'm tired of looking at books. Right. Okay, still at 18%. Oh, when Morgan told them that on their other journeys they visited real places and times, and now they're going to do something different.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Tone shift.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of my controversial opinion, was learning that these are magical. I think in general, I will like them less.
Yeah.
And I feel like for some of you other people reading this with us, that may make you like them more.
Yeah, so the Talking Llama was a real place and time, except that brings up an issue of timelines, which I had trouble with in reading these. Because every Merlin mission, she says, like, last Christmas or last summer, while like, time is progressing. She even, at one point, ages them. She goes, like, they're 9 and 10 now. Well, they started the series at 7 and 8.
But we basically have for a whole year, at least, through these 4 books. Sorry.
Yeah. And so my question was, is she royally messing up the timeline, or are these supposed to be interspersed? You know, like
not chronological.
Right, because these are Merlin's missions. So were they going on all the regular missions and then occasionally like Merlin's like, yo, I need something? I don't know.
I understand the concept you're presenting here.
Yeah. And like it would make sense if she kept it on only special things like Christmas or Halloween, but then for the rest of the Merlin missions, she goes and talks about regular stuff again.
Yeah.
Lizzie, so true. We haven't seen the Magic Treehouse in so long, but they're also kids and they have no concept of time.
No, but I think that also messes with your concept, because I do think it probably was. Time is passing.
Yeah. And I will say, like, kids think a week is like 3 years.
Yeah.
They really don't get time, especially at that age, but it was problematic to me. And it's definitely not interspersed in the part, if it is interspersed, it's not interspersed in the part where they were going like every day.
No.
You know, she's outside of that. Oh no, I just clicked off of my notes. I need them. I require them. Reading journey. Right. We're still at 18% with me. I'm slogging through. Okay. Morgan read Jack's thoughts. That freaks me out.
I don't think that I thought anything of that.
Like Jack thought something and then she said something and Jack was like, Morgan had read his thoughts. And I was like, since when?
I mean, we now do magic, so.
We now do magic. Okay, 21%. Okay, this was just something that got me in these 4 Merlin missions, is that in this first one, for some bizarre reason, they did not change clothes, but in the other one, like, in the other ones, they did sometimes.
How you be noticing these things? So you're saying they didn't change clothes in any of these?
They did in some of them.
Okay.
but not this first one. And they pointed it out. He was like, he looked at his sneakers, didn't change clothes.
But usually they change clothes to like adapt to where they're going, and if they already had appropriate clothes on, I guess.
But they didn't because they were in Camelot.
What is that? What is
Camelot? So like where Morgan and Merlin are, you know how like Morgan and Merlin are dressed in the pictures?
But is this a made up place or is it real?
It's made up.
Okay, thank you.
So, but like round table, you know, knights, ladies, lords, and they're dressed in t-shirts and jeans.
Okay, right.
So it didn't fit, which was
no, it doesn't.
Wacky. And I was like, that's fine if she does it for all the Merlin missions, but then she didn't. And you wondered how I noticed these things, and it's because I have a problem. And
this is the dancing circle, and they are dressed. Why can't I figure out how to show this? They are dressed normal, and nobody else is.
Yeah. Same in the musical. Just want to put it out there. So the reason that I noticed these things is because I've built an entire reading brand off of rereading childhood favorites and noticing like the most obscure missing details. Yeah. So that's a me problem.
We're learning that these cannot be pieced together in any logical way.
No, we were hoping they would be, but they can't be. No. Merlin didn't know how the magic treehouse traveled.
Oh.
He was like, or was it somebody else? No, because they didn't know it was Merlin yet. Morgan was like, I don't know how the treehouse got here. And that weirded me out.
Oh yeah, because then they were like, Morgan didn't send us.
Yeah.
Somebody else.
They were talking about the Knights of the Round Table, and they were like, where's so-and-so? And they were like, they're lost to us now. And then Jack thought, lost how? And I said, oh, Jack, you sweet baby angel.
Yeah. Yeah. So innocent, so pure. Maybe when he turns like 13, he becomes less naive.
He's never going to turn 13.
I know.
He's just, years are going to pass. He won't pass 10. When we found out the magic treehouse is banished from Camelot.
That was my first note. That was my first.
What'd you say about it?
She said, I just highlighted it because Morgan said, I'm afraid this will be your last journey and the last time we see each other. The drama.
And you were looking at the rest of the books going, nah.
The drama. Right. No, I'm pretty sure this continues. Right.
Yeah. I said, now there are some stakes.
Fair.
Annie volunteered them to go on a quest. We all saw that coming. Oh, yeah. Just another one about the stakes, because there was this line, if he and Annie did not go on their quest, Morgan's story and the stories of Camelot and all the stories about the magic treehouse would end forever.
Mm-hmm. Devastating. It is.
Oh.
High stakes.
High stakes. I just wrote a comment that said, see screenshots. So now I'm like,
now we have to go reference what you screenshot. Oh, no. The photo of them on the
with the giant cloak, and Jack's just look at his face.
I will say I do like. I think the pictures are being interspersed better, and I like they do more like full 2-page pictures. Yeah.
Jack got a little sarcastic in some of these.
Annie looks scary.
Yeah. Jack just looks confused.
Yeah, always.
Jack got a little sassy in some of these. He rolled his eyes at one point. I was like, Jack.
Attitude.
I made a comment that the magic items in the later books in the original series make a lot more sense post Merlin missions.
Okay.
Because in these, they're getting like a lot of magical objects.
Yeah.
And so like Mary Pope wrote these, and then she was like, okay, back to the original series, but she like carried that with her.
Yeah. I agree, like, now reading some of these, that those newer... She did some of the... I feel like she did some of the stuff that she chose to do in the Merlin missions and then, like, forgot they didn't exist in...
Oh, yeah. She
original.
doesn't know her own canon.
No.
Oh, they were like, do it for Morgan. And I said, as if she's ever done anything for you.
Right. Facts.
Okay, so Annie was wearing the hood, so she was invisible. And they had to open the gate, and so she started going like whoosh.
That's my next note. That was my next note. I'm the wind. Whoosh.
That's literally what I highlighted. I'm the wind. Whoosh. I love Annie so much.
Whoosh. And she does it multiple times.
Yeah.
Like she keeps saying,
we
whoosh.
just keep past them, remember? Whoosh. Oh, I love that. Okay, there was a group and they were like, okay, we can take the cloak off now. I'm the wind. And the guards are like, sounds like wind.
Right. Work.
So Annie said, I don't think we need to be invisible with them. And I said, me with my friends.
Oh, that's so
like,
much sweeter than my next note.
What?
I said, that's so much sweeter than my next note.
What's your next note?
It's not till page 80.
Okay.
Okay.
They're in like one of their internal monologues. They were like the others, she was tall as a grown-up, but she didn't have any lines or wrinkles on her face. And I said, this just in, as soon as you reach 18, you're supposed to have wrinkles.
That's just how life works in little kids' eyes.
How life works. That was like one time I was babysitting a kid and I was like singing along to the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse theme song. And she was like, you can't like Mickey Mouse. You're like 22. And I was
like, it's
not
new.
22, but I was like, how dare you?
Right.
I jammed to this as a child.
I am the original fan of Mickey Mouse.
Right. There was a moment where somebody said like, but you are just children. And I was like, an adult that notices.
Right. What a revelation.
Annie said, this quest is really easy. And I said, way to stay positive, Annie.
And Jack's scared.
Yeah, Jack's losing it. Okay, so they're trying to, something with the silver cup. So Jack like trips and he tries to regain his balance, but then he drops the silver cup. And they're like, don't drop this. And he like immediately drops it. And I said, same.
I mean, that's pretty canon. That's a Jack trait.
We love it. Okay, my next thing isn't until they're back in the treehouse. So
my thing at page 80 was also in reference to the silver cup because they drank the water and it said the water tasted sweet, bitter, and spicy all at the same time. And I just thought the water was spicy.
Is it bubbly? Some people call that spicy water.
Right.
Spicy.
Those are all my notes.
Okay, so he wakes up in the
The whoosh and the water was spicy were my notes.
Love it. To get back to the treehouse, did Jack fall asleep again in this? Oh my gosh, I just realized. Anyways, he falls asleep. He's like, I just had the craziest dream. And it was like, that wasn't a dream. It was real. You fell asleep at the round table and King Arthur carried you to the treehouse. Yep. And I made the wish for us to come home. I don't know if Jack has like narcolepsy or something, but this boy is falling asleep like all over the place.
He do be. Yeah.
So
it's like he gets so worked up. It's his anxiety is exhausting.
And then he just
yeah.
But I would be like, if I was that anxious, I would be too anxious to fall asleep, but he'd just be sleeping.
Yeah.
Be like Jack, Betty. Be sleeping.
Sleep tonight. Not right now.
Okay, it said his spirit sank except for the 3 rhymes. He'd taken no notes. I was sad.
That is not canon.
Jack's notes are my fave.
I didn't even think of that. Is there no notes in any of these?
There are no notes. He'll write down like the rhymes, but that's it.
That hurts me.
Yeah.
Are they done?
What is the point of the series?
Right, like we're here to research. That's kind of rude.
Yeah, and then my last comment was just, and this is the musical.
Okay.
Because it was. So that was Christmas in Camelot.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for keeping up, Lizzie.
Not to spoil all my ratings, but I increase in enjoyment with each of these.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So next, Haunted Castle on Hallows Eve. My roommate texted me that there's a gift for me on the microwave. Say something interesting for 10 seconds.
Okay. I don't have interesting things to say. My whole life is a daze. I also want to know what the thing on the microwave is. I hope it's a snack. I hope it's a treat. Is it a treat?
She gave me a cookie.
Oh.
I text her, thank you.
Yum.
Yeah, so Haunted Castle on Hallows Eve, what did we rate it?
2 stars.
That seems to be the same rating, Bailey.
It was a higher 2-star, but not quite a 2.5.
I rated it 4 stars.
Wow.
This one I do have memories of reading growing up, though.
Okay.
I thought this one was lame 3 stars. Okay, well, I had a good time with these silly little birds.
My used copies have the stickers intact.
Mm-hmm.
Like they still exist in both of them. I was impressed.
Yeah, I didn't know they had stickers in them.
They do.
Okay, so did you take any notes for this one?
Nope.
No, so you're just going to listen to me, and I'm sorry for how much I have to say. Here we go.
I'm going to live react.
Dear reader, now nearly a year later, Jack and Annie are about to set out on a new Merlin mission. I was like, no.
But they're not 11. They're not 10 and 11. They are still 9. Well, she does say it's a full year later.
Full year later, she does.
And then the time
to dear reader note
again in the later ones.
Yeah,
because the
keeps
next
passing.
one, it's the 2 holidays, and then it's the solstices.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was like, let me do the direct opposite time of year.
4 years in these 4 books, but they're the same age. I understand.
Yeah. It made me mad. I was like, how old will they be by the end of Merlin missions? In their late 40s? Like, what are we doing?
Right.
Okay. Annie was debating whether or not she wanted to be a princess or a vampire. And Jack was like, you were already a vampire. And then she said, but I want to wear my big teeth again.
Yes.
I just love Annie.
It's such like a kid thing to do too, though. Like, can't decide what they want to be. I mean, not to spoil the ending, but she decides to be a princess with the
vampire princess.
Yeah. Which is like something that would happen. Like a little kid would do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, then I thought it was really weird. Annie did her usual, it's a sign, Morgan's back, like a random thing will happen. She's like, it's the magic treehouse. Oh. And this time, Jack said, I think you're right. Let's go. And I was like, where did my sweet Jack go?
Wow. No, we're not scared today? Until he finds out where they're going.
It's the magic treehouse.
Right. He's like, never having a good time and is still like excited when it shows up.
That's me at everything. I'm like having a bad time while I'm there. Then I leave and I'm like, that was the greatest thing ever. Okay, so they get the message in the magic treehouse in this one. And last time, forgot to say for anybody who didn't read them, it was actually Merlin that sent them on the mission. Oh, crazy, because it's a Merlin mission. So that's why Morgan didn't know why the treehouse was there.
Right.
So this time it's signed M, which is what Merlin had signed last time. And they were like, oh, it's definitely Merlin because Morgan never signs her messages with an M. But if you will recall, the first several of the original series, she signs it M. Like the treehouse says M, and they're
Yeah,
like, "Who is this
because they
M
don't know who
person?"
she
Morgan never signs it M. Are you joking?
Morgan is the original M.
Yeah. Okay, this time they literally get Camelot costumes, and they're still in Camelot this time. Because he says we're in Camelot, and then he says Camelot costumes, and they're wearing costumes. And I was like, you didn't get Camelot costumes last time. That's false, guys. For real. They're out here lying to us.
I kind of want to be a vampire princess for Halloween this year and say that I'm Annie.
Do it. Oh, you're a vampire princess? No, I'm Annie from Magic Treehouse. Okay, Teddy's back.
Yeah, that did make me happy.
So
I liked him better.
Ouch. I remember we had a conversation when we found out that Teddy was a like real boy in his like arc. And I had been a bit scrambled because I hadn't realized that Teddy was mainly from the Merlin missions.
Okay.
And so it was like he doesn't like fully go away. And that's because he's here for all of these. So except the first one, again, because the first one was just random, I suppose.
Yeah, we gain another character later on.
Yeah, Kathleen. We'll get to her.
Does she stay?
What?
Does she stay through the series as well?
I don't know. I haven't read them all.
Okay.
She was at least, it threw me off when she was in Winter of the Ice Wizard because I thought she wasn't here to stay, and then she showed up in another one.
In the one right before that, Sea Serpent, they said that she would, like, they would see her again. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, which is weird. I don't remember. Okay. I thought it was hysterical that Teddy always said A, because I was like, Canadian Teddy headcanon.
No, Mary Pope Osborne's from the United States.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
It's because he was supposed to be speaking like old-timey.
Oh.
Okay. I was like, it's not old-timey.
We're speaking Canadian, don't you know?
So we learned some about Teddy too. Instead of just being a boy who accidentally turned himself into a dog, we also learned that his dad's a sorcerer and his mother is a wood sprite.
That's more character development than we've gotten on Jack and Annie.
So true. Okay, Teddy knows how to speak bird languages.
It's literally just Mary Pope Osborne throwing in whatever is convenient.
Whatever. He says cuckoo. And then Jack is like, what the frick? And he looks at him and goes, I once journeyed to the Isle of Birds to study their language. I learned a bit of dove, but no raven.
He's 13.
I love it so much. Okay, they're like trying to magic the doors open, and then my man Jack goes, are we sure they're even locked?
Maybe it's unlocked. Yeah, that was iconic.
I loved that. I was like, no way. Okay, and in this one we learned that Jack likes to have a plan.
I don't remember.
This is stirring something in me faintly. Yes, because her uncle taught her bird calls.
I don't know.
Her uncle taught her bird calls.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway.
I'm just picturing like a turkey call. Like the hunters use.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That wasn't much of a plan or a mission, he thought, but he liked the leaving part.
There's the Jack we know and love.
I love it. And then we learned that Jack really likes everything in order. He liked the order in the room. It made him feel safer. So we're really unpacking Jack's psyche in this one.
Yes, we are. It all adds up.
I'm just gonna read this line to you. It made me laugh. I
Okay.
thought you weren't afraid of ghosts, he said to Teddy. Yes, well, I believe I just discovered that I am.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
That was a good line. Um, it's just Jack thinking they're both crazy. That's the Jack we know and love. Teddy's crazy. Annie's crazy. Oh, the line from Teddy, "'Tis cool indeed." Had me. And then Teddy goes and messes it up again, and he turns them all into ravens.
Yes.
But that's where we get the lovely, where's it saved? Ocney and Jaw.
Yeah.
John Ocney from the Magic Treehouse.
Yes.
Which sparked joy for me.
I did enjoy the photo of them being birds.
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 And then Annie was like, maybe we could use Teddy's magic hazel twig ourselves. I can come up with better rhymes than him anyway. And I was like, go off, girly. And she said, he acts like he's the only kid who can do magic.
Oh no.
She's sassing up a storm.
She really believes in herself.
She do. It just made me a little emo when Jack. Okay, so basically in this story, they turn into ravens and they're looking for this diamond. They find it and then Jack holds it and he feels like really brave. And he has to give it up. And he said, I really felt brave when I was carrying this diamond. And he says, Jack, you were pretty brave just now without it.
Yeah. So sweet.
Iconic. Jack is like, I don't think this magic wand is something that kids should play with. You better give it back.
I think you're past this point now, but I would like to bring up a picture again of this.
Oh, of the Raven King?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The breastbone of that bird? Did you not notice that?
No.
Okay. I did.
Okay. They say they're going to stay home instead of going trick-or-treating. And I was like, you are too young to be doing that. Go trick-or-treating.
I don't remember how old I was when I probably stopped.
It's way older than that.
Probably when my parents got divorced.
I think I probably only stopped because I started having like performances on those days. So I was busy. I was elsewhere, as it were. So yeah, that was that book.
Okay.
Now we go to Summer of the Sea Serpent, which for some reason I was so excited to read.
Really?
I hadn't read it yet, and I was so excited about it.
Like, did you have memories of this one?
Nope. I was just like, this one looks cool. I don't know. I like the color green.
Same, but every single one of these has green on them.
But this serpent's green.
More green. Yep.
More green.
Sure.
Do you have notes for this one?
Nope. I don't have notes.
Are you sick of my notes? I can abandon my notes if you want.
No, I like your notes.
Okay, good. We'll keep going with my notes.
Remind me of the stuff that was funny.
Lizzie owned Summer of the Sea Serpent.
Oh.
How exciting.
Or did you just ask my rating?
Yeah, what's your rating?
3 stars.
3 stars? Okay.
3 stars.
Lizzie, what was your rating? And anyone else there in the universe? I gave it 4 stars.
Wow. Is this a 4-star streak for you? Maybe?
I was a little heavy-handed this month, I will say.
Okay. Well, I liked the next one the best, so I'm waiting for you to be like 5 stars.
I liked it the worst. Okay. Probably because I got to read 3 of them with my eyeballs, and I did not get to read Winter of the Ice Wizard with my eyeballs. I had to use my earballs.
Your earballs. Yep.
which I hated. So, okay, Summer the Sea Serpent. Hiss. 8 months later.
It's ridiculous at this point.
It made me so mad. Jack is sitting on the porch reading a newspaper. So much time has passed, he has become an elderly man.
I was going to say, like an old person. But also, when was this published? 2003? Newspapers were more prominent still.
These last two I listened to, I always like them less that way. Same. But I read them how I can get them.
Yeah.
Oh, this one can't be interspersed because it said Jack and Annie hadn't seen the Magic Treehouse since their Merlin mission to a haunted castle last Halloween.
I feel like she says that in other things too, of like she references the previous one.
I'm mad about it. I'm fuming. This is me fuming.
I want somebody to restart the series now and keep track of the time periods that she says and calculate how many years Miss Mary Pope has claimed have passed.
It's at least a dozen.
Like every time she says like, oh, it's been a few months, like add that up.
Okay, we learned that Annie is scared of spiders. It's in fact the only thing she's afraid of.
Which I don't believe, but okay.
Okay.
You're watching Triple D without me downstairs.
How dare he?
Okay. It's okay. Moving on.
That's upsetting. Okay, so on this mission they go and their like first instruction in their little rhyme, because they don't have a book, just a little rhyme, is to like the Water Knight or whoever and so they go like, but who is the Water Knight? And I was like, dang, I really wish you could look that up right about now.
Right. If we had a book,
we'd know things. Like even give them like a tale, like a folklore book or something. Like give them something.
Now we're in like we're going to fake places or like magical, unreal.
And like in all her author's notes, she's
exists.
Yeah, in all her author's notes, she's talking about the different things that she put together. But like usually there's like one style that she's going after of like folklore, and I'm like, give them the book. Give them the book.
Right.
Okay, Annie goes, he's like the stag that came for us in Camelot, and Jack says, no, he isn't. He's much weirder.
As you just showed that weird photo of the stag.
Yeah.
Drawing.
And I will have to say,
weird.
The Water Knight was not weird, but his horse is. Okay, I once read that no spider on Earth is bigger than a dinner plate. And Annie says, yeah, and no horse on Earth has a giant fishtail either.
I mean, but
this always gets me.
I said a dinner plate is big.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, he's like, no, it's not going to be bigger than that. And she's like, this is all fake.
Right.
We had another classic moment. So in Christmas at Camelot, we had Jack being like, I'm not going to drop this, and then immediately dropping it. And in this one, we had whatever you do, don't look up. And he looked up.
Right. Yep. Again, not surprising.
Okay, and then we meet Kathleen, who is a Selkie.
Yeah.
Dinner plate, very large spider. And Jack loses his mind over this girl.
It's impressive.
He loses it. He constantly says the most beautiful girl he'd ever seen.
Is it a love match?
I don't know. Jack just stared at her. He couldn't believe the beautiful girl was sometimes a seal.
Was sometimes.
He couldn't can't believe the beautiful girl was sometimes a seal.
Okay.
I'm crying. Okay. And then she's like, okay, we just put on this skin and then we'll be a seal. And Jack thinks, this is
so
crazy.
crazy.
You can't become a seal just by putting on a seal costume.
When you say this stuff out loud, because it's like I don't think that hard about it while I'm reading them. And then you repeat it, and I'm like, wait, this is ridiculous.
I should read them all to you. You'd laugh hysterically. I laugh so much reading these.
I mean, yeah, it's silly.
Yeah, no. I read them hilariously. You're right. Oh, he wanted to tell the Selkie how much fun he was having, but when he opened his mouth, a school of tiny fish swam down his throat. That gave me the ick.
Yup.
I was like, yucky.
Yeah, ew.
Who was it that said this? I think it was Teddy, but all I have marked is, it gives me the quivers.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Jack was about to say he'd rather be a seal.
It is just like, I'm conceptualizing that kids do not talk this way.
Yeah. Okay, and then I had a question. I was like, are they opening their eyes underwater in the ocean, like in their human form? Because at some point they go in their human form, eyes wide open.
I think yes.
And I know that's like technically possible, but it would hurt very badly.
It's magical.
It would hurt.
They're not in the real world. Remember, the spiders can be bigger than plates, and they can open their eyes underwater.
I guess. Okay, Jack yells, "Don't come any closer." The serpent came closer. I just love it. Okay, Teddy like can't think of a rhyme, and so Annie like makes one, and she's like, "Make a bridge strong and bright," and Teddy says, "Yes, that is exactly what I was going to say."
It's giving, I don't know the word. I want to say like mansplaining. It's giving like, I already could do it better.
Yeah.
My brain is clicking slow.
Well, you're running on very little sleep.
You're just like, yeah. As it took me 15 seconds to say nothing.
Okay, the sea serpent wasn't really our enemy. He was like the Spider Queen. They both seemed really scary until we got to know them.
Yeah. Like, we're this far into the series and we're just learning that, like, probably these people and beings that you're meeting are probably going to be nice to you.
Yeah. Okay. Then they learned that the sword that they pulled out of the bottom of the water is Excalibur. And I was excited because when I did a play and I had a sword in the play, my replica sword was Excalibur.
Wow.
So I was like, that's my sword. And then I put an emoji, but instead of putting the emoji, it has saved it as this random symbol.
It's like an Android symbol.
Yeah. So they really got to know them, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. They were like, our shoes, we left them on the beach. And I said, Jack never got his glasses back. I said, I used the search feature, and the word glasses is never used again in the book after he puts them down.
You amaze me by noticing these things.
Well, because like they made such a big deal out of like, oh, we don't have our shoes. And I was
Yeah.
like, you don't
And
have
you're
your
like,
glasses.
brother can't see.
Yeah. And I think I also was thinking about that a lot because when they were like, he put down his glasses, as a person who wears glasses every day,
Yeah.
all the time, I was like, great. So if I take off my glasses, I can't see. So I
It
was
probably
like, great.
worked
So Jack can't
for
see.
you.
Where are we going? And then he like never gets them back. And I was like, where are they?
Jack doesn't know.
So I really noticed it because as a glasses wearer myself, I was like, you don't put those down.
You need those back.
I was about to scroll through the entire book and look, and then I realized there was a search feature. So glad that I
Good job.
glad that I thought of that.
Good job.
Okay. Guess we'll just have to tell our mom we lost our shoes in a time before Camelot. And I'm like, what about your glasses?
I do think that a few times in this set, they said something like, what are we going to tell mom? And said, like, basically tell her the truth. And I'm wondering if mom does ask. And they do say this, and she's like, oh, they're just so imaginative. Or if she never asks.
I think maybe one time in the original series, they do something like that. And I think we see her response, and she's just like, haha.
Okay, right. Silly kids.
So, okay. Except that they get there and sitting in front of the door were their sneakers, like it had been returned. This happens with the scarf in the next one too, but not with Jack's glasses. Which I feel like more important.
Yeah.
I'm sure mom asks what they did that day.
Bold of you to assume that mom is asking what they did that day when she straight up lets them wander into the woods. I don't have that much faith in mom.
It started in the 90s, Bailey.
I know.
Okay. So that was that one. And last but not least, well, least for me, but still last, Winter of the Ice Wizard.
Okay.
What did we give it? 3 what?
3 stars.
3 stars? Oh, I rated it higher than you.
But a higher 3 stars than the last one.
I rated it 3.5.
See, you did like it.
Not as much as the others. I gave them all 4 stars. Waiting to see what Lizzie gave it. And this one, I don't have highlights. I just have notes. So that'll be interesting. 3 stars for this one. Great. So this one was mid. Mid at best. All right. I take it you don't have notes for this one?
No.
Great. Waiting until the next solstice. This timeline is a dang mess.
Yeah. Once again.
A whole solstice. And then I said, oh, Kathleen is back too? Because I didn't remember her reappearing.
Sea serpent, they said. Now I'm just gonna.
I was really focused on Jack's glasses. I don't know what to tell you.
I definitely just scared the baby. So sorry. She's.
Oh no.
Okay, continue. Well, I see if this exists.
Oh, Jack has this thought. Even when she'd been a seal, she had been lovely.
He does that. He likes her.
I literally wrote that quote in all caps because it made me scream. It was so funny. You just can't be sitting here thinking, even when she'd been a seal, she'd been lovely. I
feel like it just says potentially a lot about Jack's preferences.
Well, he wanted to stay a seal himself, so I mean, it would make sense, I guess, but it still weirded me out.
I did find this. Because in Sea Serpent, they're talking about going back to the treehouse, going home. And Jack said, what about you guys? And Kathleen says, I must return to my cave now, or my sisters will begin to worry. But then Teddy says, and I will see Kathleen back home, then return to the future in Camelot. So we know that Teddy and Kathleen can see each other outside of this world.
But she
And
never
then
says, like, I'll be
Kathleen
back.
says goodbye for now.
Oh, okay.
And then Annie asks Teddy, will we see you again? And then Teddy said, yes, I have a feeling you will see both of us again soon.
Okay.
I did imagine it. I read these and pay attention as much as I stare blank-faced during this.
I was literally only thinking about Jack's glasses when I was reading that part.
Okay. And I was like, Kathleen's coming back.
No, I was, because one of the ways that I remember this is like I'll grab onto detail and I'll be like, I wonder if she's going to do this later with it. And so I'm just holding that and like not paying attention to the rest. And then I'm like, she never closed the loop.
Yeah.
So, okay. In this one, it says they're 9 and 10 now.
Okay.
So then I was like, huh? Okay, so in this one, they go to find an eyeball.
Correct.
And immediately I was like, meh. They end up meeting the Fates.
Okay.
And they have this conversation with the Fates, but what I got from the conversation was the quote, perhaps we will stop weaving fates and start weaving scarves.
Who said that? Because, okay, let's stop off.
Yeah. I was like, oh. And then like a lot of stuff happened that I didn't care about. And then I said, not Jack falling asleep again.
You didn't care about the castle?
Nope.
And the man being mean?
Oh, the wizard?
Yeah.
I was already past that with the weaving the fates. Yeah, no, I didn't care about him at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't care.
Okay.
But I did care about Jack falling asleep again in the snow, no less.
Yeah. They do say, though, like, if you're going into hypothermia,
that you get sleepy? Yeah. Okay, so Bailey's headcanon is this is the moment where Jack dies, and the rest of the series, he's a ghost.
I mean, spice it up.
Okay, so they get the eyeball, and they bring it back to the mean man, but there is a picture, there's a spread of them looking at the eyeball. Thank you. Jack's face made me laugh out loud.
Shock. Pure shock.
It's an eyeball. Okay, so they give him the eyeball and it doesn't work and he's really mad.
The drama.
And then at some point the wolves transform. There were wolves, by the way.
Yeah, this whole time. And what about the knots? You didn't care about the knots?
I didn't care.
Okay. The knots sped it up and slowed it down, but okay.
Yeah. I was like, okay. Okay. It looks like Jack is about to eat the eyeball. Okay, so but then the wolves transform because they were actually Merlin and Morgan the whole time. Yep. And I said that wolf transformation was very.
I was gonna say it's the second book in a row where the animals ended up being like, because the last one it was Teddy and Kathleen. Were the seals.
Yeah. Yeah, and but that happened a lot earlier on.
Okay, yeah.
This one, they were like trapped as wolves.
Okay, yeah.
Right. And so they transformed, and I said that wolf transformation was very the cover of Animorphs.
Oh, not really familiar with Animorphs, but love that for you.
Hold up the picture.
I'm trying to find it.
I never read Animorphs.
Like it's them, like it's multiple of them as they change.
Yes. So like,
yeah.
This is like a cover of Animorphs.
I also think that Morgan looks scared.
Yeah. So like, do you know these covers that I'm talking about? Yeah. Okay, I never read Animorphs, but as a child, every Friday afternoon, our treat after school was that we would go to the library. We would be able to pick out some books. And I remember looking through the books, and Animorphs, there were so many Animorph books, and they looked so creepy because it was just children turning into various animals, sometimes bugs, that I noticed them. And see, I'm not alone. We're familiar with the covers, but we've never read one.
Interesting. You guys must have gone to the same library.
Nope. Okay, and then there was a quote that was like, people often try to convince us the world is scarier than it really is. And like the sentiment behind that was nice, but I said, I don't know, homie, it's kind of terrifying out here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's actually probably worse.
Yeah, it's worse than this. Yeah, that was it. I clearly took less notes because one, I was listening, so I didn't just get to like highlight as they went.
My other useful bit of information is like why emboss this on the hardcover. Like it's barely a thing.
Yeah.
Like it's supposed to be like but really it just looks like a nothing. Seems like a waste.
Because I still have this comment about our childhoods up, you saying it seems like a waste made it sound like our childhoods were a waste. But
I'm trying to think what this one, because I only have a couple of these in hardcover, but I'm trying to think what this one had. See, this one has a castle and it's green, so way better.
Oh, that's nice.
Christmas
that's pretty.
Yeah.
Okay, so those were the 4. What are we thinking of the Merlin missions so far?
I'm scared. Like I said, I don't know. I think I like the magical part less than like, and you said that now Jack has no notes. It feels like we're getting lazy just to keep it going. Like she didn't know what to do, so she was like, maybe I should do some magic. But then dropped a lot of like the core things that I liked about the earlier books.
Yeah. I'm also worried about that. I was excited because it was different from the formula we'd been reading for a year. Yes. I think going forward, I'll be like, oh no, this formula.
Again. Anyway, right.
But I do love Teddy. I think he's chaotic, and so I'm glad he's around.
Like, is he now, from what you remember, like basically involved in most of them? Okay.
Yeah, to my knowledge, yes, he's a thing.
Okay.
And I think Kathleen is probably in at least a couple of the others too.
Yeah.
So, and I do at least appreciate, because like by the end of the original series, they're going and doing a lot less. They're doing less interesting things at the end.
She definitely was running out of like ideas.
And she does that in the Merlin missions too. Like, we'll eventually get a book about soccer and one about Abe Lincoln. But for now, we're back to doing more fun stuff. And I do think, although it's still very fantastical in the Merlin missions, if I'm thinking correctly, this group of them is like the most fake time and place that it gets. But I could be so wrong. So like, laugh at me next month if I was wrong.
Okay.
Speaking of next month, in August, we'll be reading Carnival at Candlelight and Season of the Sandstorms, both of which I have memories of.
Nice.
And I only had memories of 2 of these this month. So, and then we'll be reading a nonfiction, even though they're no longer reading nonfiction.
Rude.
Because we're having fun. And also, if we switched it to the theme of Merlin missions, we'd be adding a fantasy book, and I'm not about that.
Oh, yeah. Not necessary.
So I hope you're okay with sticking with nonfiction. I find it fun. Okay.
Yeah, I was excited to get back to the nonfiction because we technically skipped the nonfiction.
Yeah, maybe we can take funny Jack notes on our nonfiction since he's not taking notes anymore.
I'll try.
Anyway, so the nonfiction that we're reading is The Brilliant Abyss by Helen Scales. I'm excited about it. Lizzie's also a fan of the nonfiction.
Ooh.
And we'll take Jack-like notes. Thank you for your service. I'll carry a little notebook, she says.
That's so cute. This is it, right? This is the correct one?
Yep, that's it. I personally hope that Danielle will join us because I think
I do as well. I bet there's a seahorse wet in this.
Yeah, there's probably a seahorse wet. I'm excited about it because I think we passed up the opportunity around Dolphins at Daybreak to read more of a like ocean nonfiction. So I'm excited about it, even though I'm scared of what lives in the ocean.
It doesn't give me scary vibes. Like that it's
no, it doesn't. But it's not even that it scares me, it's that they're like icky.
Yeah, that's fair. Like this little creature on the front looks scary.
Yeah, no, that's scary. But if we're talking about like geothermal vents or something, you know, could be fun.
The things that excite us.
So, thanks for joining us, Lizzie, as our seems to be our one viewer.
The future.
We'll be here regardless if anyone else shows up.
If this ends up just being me and Martine, we'll still be here.
Even though Bailey's not really enjoying the series.
So that's the context that you missed. I kind of referenced it once we went live, but I told Martine before we went live that Chris came up here and I was telling him that we were doing Magic Treehouse tonight or whatever. And then I said, I don't really like them. And he said, oh, you didn't like the ones you read this month? And I said, no, the whole series. But then I said, I like reading them, but like I objectively don't like think they're that good.
Yeah. Like Lizzie had a good time. Yeah, and I do love talking about them with other people. Like I wouldn't just read them alone.
If I would have been like, oh, I'm going to try to read all the Magic Treehouses at any other point, right? It wouldn't have been in this fast of succession. Or like I probably would have done it with like Mabel eventually. But I just feel like there's more children's series that are out now or like newer now that would be more fun to read, like with my children. Like I don't know that I'll keep these.
I hope you'll keep some of them.
I know. The thing is, I will have a full set.
Yeah.
But I just wonder how much this type of thing has evolved since these, but even also since like Junie B. Jones. Like, what is the new that now? Or like Babysitter's Club. Like, I know people still read all of those things, but there's new ones too.
Yeah, although I feel like a lot of the really great work in middle grade is happening with like slightly higher middle grade.
Yeah.
Like these are first chapter books.
Yes.
So, I don't know. We're glad you're here for the long haul, Lizzie. We love you. But we're going to go now. So, see you next month.
Yeah, see you then. Bye.